Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, P-Funk, thinking right out here in the lab where I do what I do for you. Oh, I got something nice for you today. We got a nice little series I'm about to involve you in, nice little lessons for a little while. So get ready, put your seatbelt on, and get comfortable. We about to do what we do. Let's go. Rightism. 25 rules to live by. Storytelling. Story with a message. There's a message in the story for life. I give life lessons. You tune in to receiving them. I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. Let's do what we do. Right thinking mission. That's what I'm on. Is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinkers way of life through mental and spiritual discipline practice daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission is that all right thinkers know thyself. If you're a right thinker, your goal is to know thyself. See where I'm going with that? So I asked the question, do you know you? Hang out with me and you'll be able to answer that in the affirmative. That's my mission, to get you to know you. So a person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple. You can teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believes and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers, know thyself. And always to Mayat be true. We about to get engaged or engage in what I call selected Egyptian proverbs and teachings. This is the rabbit hole that I went down, and that's why I got the title of this, because I learned and mastered these lessons in my own time. Okay? So listen, you can practice and you'll get the same result, guaranteed. Okay? From the Stela of Abu, it says, be chief of the mysteries at festivals, meaning practice right thinking philosophy, yoga, know your mouth, come in peace, Hotep, and enjoy life on earth. But don't get too attached. Why? It is transitory. This physical life, you're born, you're going to expire, aka die. That's the physical part of you. But let me give you a quick lesson on attachment. Attachment can be described as what? As any feeling which emotionally ties one to or causes one desire for an object, including people, okay, person, place, or thing. There you go, right there. But the erroneous promise which manifests as attachment is the idea, watch this, that happiness comes from something outside of oneself. I've been telling you for the longest, happiness is generated from within. Nothing outside of you can give you that. That's the first thing. That's why we're trying to teach a lesson with attachment. Let's go. Here we go. This is a good lesson. Thus, we act in ways that we think will bring or hold objects close to us, which we think, again, will bring us happiness. Momentary happiness is feeling a desire of the ego, and that will never be fulfilled. Watch this, follow me. And when the spirit forgets that we are God within the physical body, because it believes the ego is human, that's when it edges God out. I keep trying to explain to you the acronym for the ego is edging God out. Why do you think that is? Because the ego self only knows itself. That's why. It don't know its higher self, your true self. That's who you don't know. And if you don't listen and raise your conscious level to know thyself, which is what they left us, the creed, that phrase, know thyself. Why? I know from experience. That's why. Why? I'm teaching it because we don't know who the hell we are, for starters. So let's start with that. But as God, we don't know that in human form. And so God is everywhere in all things. Again, being ignorant of that is why you need somebody to teach you. So therefore, in this world of constant gain and loss, duality, good, bad, right, left, that's the world that we live in. We cannot own. Listen, we came into this world with nothing, and we cannot own or hold anything of this world. Rather, we must realize that, and we are what? Supremely full. Once you gain knowledge of self, you would know that nothing in the world can make me happier than me being my best self. We are everything, and since all is God, nothing is really being gained or lost in the physical world. We just don't know that. In situations of prosperity, when life is good, as well as in situations of adversity, when things seem to be bad, we are still what? Ever full. Why? Your spirit don't get involved in none of that. But recall the teachings of who? Tahuti. As above, so below. Conceptually. And what he's saying is, as you think it, that's what you're going to do. The body follows the mind. Watch this. Actions, which are characterized by what? A feeling of attachment, described above, as I told you about that, are what? Detrimental to spiritual attainment. Why is that? And to the enjoyment of life. Why? Because such actions invariably lead to what? Disappointment, disillusionment, and mental anguish and mental agitation. Why? For example, good question. If one engages, this is what I love. This is why I offer a selfless service. This is one of the reasons why I started that. If one engages in the act for a purpose of pleasing someone else, or even to please oneself with the idea of what? Deriving some benefit from the person or that situation he's involved in. But it is material, whether it be material or psychological, one is leaving one's feeling of what? Contentment, happiness, open to what? Whims of others or chance that it may work out, it may not. I don't gamble. In this example, what they're telling you, one is attached to what? Something outside, an outside factor as determinant for one's mental state to either make you happy or sad. I'm about to take you through all these phases because every aspect of your character need to be tapped and mastered by you. In this world of relativity, the physical world which we live in, it is certain that every situation will not be pleasing or in keeping with what? Our expectations. Ding, 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 ding. If you start anything with expectations, you plan to fail. Watch this. Therefore, if one's intent is to achieve a state of equanimity, Maya, that's where I live. One must do what? Then one must strive to find what? The balance within one's own heart, your true self, mind. Why? Because this is the only factor which one can what? Truly control. I can't control no outside factors. Only why? Once we all understand that, we'll stop trying to make this one, that one, make that one, this one. Oh, he should be that. It's not your call. Make yourself the best you can be. That's what you have control over, right, thinkers? That's my point. One's, again, perceptions and reactions. One must learn and understand that ultimately, you is the ruler of your own self, not somebody else. Until we get of age, we got parents to guide us and lead us along the way. But at a certain point in time, you got to take the wheel and be responsible for you. Okay? That's your job. And therefore, no need, on oneself. Yeah. That self is what? What's the self? That self is identical with what? All existence. God. And supremely full. So therefore, it don't need nothing. But you in the physical world don't understand that. Why? Due to your ignorance of this fact, it leads us to make our what? Happiness dependent on, you ready? Factors outside of ourselves. I want to have a big car. I want to ride a Rolls Royce. I want to have that big pretty car. I want to have that big house. All those is just things, objects. I want to know thyself, the God in me. That's my first choice. Once I do that, everything else, it tells you, will be given to you. I can achieve and work hard to get the Rolls Royce. I ain't got to ask for that. Okay? But what I do need is knowledge of self. That's the concept of right thinking philosophy. Self-knowledge tops all other knowledge. What's this? Now, through the incorporation of my right thinking teachings and using them where? In your daily activities, and by incorporating in the practice of what? Maya and self-reflecting, checking yourself on a daily basis, and daily meditation, talking to your higher self. No, not talking. Praying is talking. Meditating is listening. I have a conversation with God every day, constantly. But it is possible to now intuitively, that means naturally, discover certain facts about yourself. When you live a certain way, they will become obvious to you. And one who understands this teachings would act. Why? Because he or she wants to they do things out of the kindness of their heart. We call it a selfish service. Nobody makes me do this. Again, out of the kindness of my heart, selfish service. I can show you anytime, any place, what I'm talking about and what I'm teaching you about. Why? Because I'm about that. That's why. It's easy. And they want the best. Why? Out of the kindness of their heart. I'm doing this for that reason. Not because I want a bunch of views. Not because I'm going to get paid from YouTube. No. They are looking for what? I'm looking to be happy. And by making others happy, or expecting something in return from that, I don't want nothing from you but you to get the message, use it, and move on. That's what I want. That ain't for sale. That don't give me no money. I don't do nothing for me, but it helps you. Again, I do what I do for you. I know what I'm doing. And these factors, watch this. These factors are always variables in what? Therefore, just illusionary. Money don't make me. We've been there already, so understand that. But since all of the self, all is the self is God, when one acts in the interest of who? Others of the world, one is really acting for what? Oneself. Think about that. So I'm with that. I got that concept a long time ago. Now, in this manner, now the actions in the world may be undertaken with what? Full responsibility for one's own actions, one's contentment with oneself, and one's acceptance of one's action as being virtuous, righteous, and relinquishing what? Not caring about what? The outcome, be it favorable or not. I do what I do for you. How you do with that, what you do with it, had no bearings on me. These are lessons in life that I want others to learn. That's what I do. And the fact that I get the comments, not all the time good, but knowing I'm doing something makes me feel good. That's what drives me. Leave no room, watch this, leave no room for what? Mental agitation or anguish. I don't have no regrets, no bad feelings of what I do for others. Thus, I have full enjoyment of the world, and I'm happy and are at my best when I'm achieving what? My mental concepts and detaching myself from what? Others of the world, and living in the way in which what? Promotes purity of the heart. Decreasing what? Mental disturbance, ignorance, agitation, and now that's how you increase what? Peace, aka Hotep, within oneself. When you do for you, everything you do is pretty much by, for, and about you. Even when you help others, it's selfish. I don't help or do things for people who want something in return. That's what I'm practicing. That's what they teach you. I learned that from here. And I lived it, so I know it works. Moving on. Now we got the stealer from Tahuti. Okay? He tells you to consume pure foods, have pure thoughts, and work with pure hands. Adore celestial beings, aka your gods. Become associated with wise ones, sages, saints, prophets, gurus, and make offerings to what? God of your understanding. I do what I do. You do what works for you. Trust me. Now, they say the association with sage, aka that's good association. I'm here every day for you, so that's what my point to do for you. Is seen as a primary way to what? Accelerate what? One's spiritual development. I'm here to give you lessons that you can use and get better. And sooner or later, you'll have mastery over oneself through the lessons that you learn and you implement, not because I say it. And what happens? In India, this process is known as Sat Sangha. Okay? We learn it as enlightenment. They got a different name for it, same thing, but association, teacher, student. Okay? First thing we had to deal with, and it's right here. This is in the book. Okay, we going by the book. The first thing we got to deal with is that ego, but they see the ego as ignorance. That's the definition of the ego. Ignorance of what? Its higher self. It got out. They only know one thing. So let's talk about ignorance right quick. Ignorance, the wickedness of the soul is what? Ignorance. The virtue of the soul is knowledge. Natural enemies. No, not no. Ignorance, knowledge. Who is it that affirms most boldly? Who is it that holds his or her opinion most abstinently? Ever they who have most ignorance. The one with the biggest say so, the one with the loudest mouth, they are the most ignorant. Watch this. For they also have the most pride, and they want everybody to hear them. No matter how ignorant they are, they still want to be heard and seen. That's the definition of ignorance and ego. Ignorance, let's finish it up right here. Ignorance is the root of all evil. They say money, no, leave money out of this. Just deal with you. Your ignorance is the root of your personal evil. You create all that due to your own ignorance. Moving on. Now, ignorance is the root of all evil, pain, and suffering. How could that? Think about it. So therefore, how could you end, or the end of ignorance is the main goal of my right thinking philosophy teachings, to get you out of that ignorant state of mind, to know thyself with knowledge of self. I didn't write it, I'm just following it. And I had to take care of my ignorance a long time ago. So I do know about it. Okay? Now, hope you get that lesson. Lock it away. We're getting ready for the next one. This one's on pain. Let's deal with it. Pain. As joy is not without its ally, pain. Okay? You can't have one without the other. And when you understand that, now what happens? So as joy is not without its ally of pain, so neither is sorrow without its portion of what? Pleasure. It goes both ways. My mother's favorite phrase, when things are going bad and you're feeling bad, this too soon shall pass. She was right. Can't argue that one. Moving on. No matter how you feel about it, no matter what you think about it, you can't argue with what is, so stop trying. Just deal with it. Learn the lesson and move on. Let's go. All high philosophical systems, okay, deal with what? The question of suffering. My teacher I listened to, the student asked, Master, why do we suffer? He said, you suffer because you desire. He said, okay, so if I stop desiring, I'll stop suffering. Came back, he said, teacher, I'm now desiring and I'm still suffering. He said, so what's going on? What it is? So that's a lesson, a little more, but let me get back to this lesson. Now, if viewed honestly, all facets of life are seen to be what? Full of suffering. Why? What makes you laugh gonna make you cry. What makes you happy gonna make you sad. That's why even those situations which appear to be joyous and happy and good times, guess what? Eventually lead one to what? The pain, the other side, okay? Of what? Disappointment, when it is no longer possible to maintain them or to repeat them when one wishes to do so. That feeling you get, you want to ride that out when it's over. Oh, that's the depression part. Yeah. That's the roller coaster. I'm trying to teach you how to smooth it out. Why? In life, you want this. You don't want this. Good up, bad down. Even it out. That's what daily meditation is for, to help you maintain an air of calmness and smoothness as you go. So therefore, what? Pleasurable situations, when not expected, with philosophical insight, leads to what? Further mental agitation, aka pain, suffering, depression, okay? Egyptian philosophy states, now this is ancient Egyptian philosophy, watch this. The cause of pain and suffering is due to ignorance. Ignorance is one's true self, the ego. Again, in India, their philosophy, the idea of pain is categorized into three causes, and the chain, they call it chain of pain. In reality, we are spirits, spiritual beings, but we are suffering from what? Human experience that we cause on ourselves because of ignorance. Can't get around it. They got three things here. It says three causes of pain. Let's go over them right quick. I'm looking at the clock. I got you. Don't worry. Oh, I got plenty for you. So I just want to keep them time down while I just get enough information and then let you go. I'm going to stop with the pain. How about that? So you already know it's almost there. We're almost done. Pain caused from one's own body and mind, physical, mental disease, from one's own actions. Pain caused by others, that's an outside entity. Third one, pain caused by what? Acts of God, such as hurricanes, earthquakes, and apocalyptic disasters. The chain of pain. We come into the physical body. Again, spiritual beings come into human existence for what? The experience, and the physical body gonna go through some pain. We come into the body because there is mental agitation. There is agitation because there is desires, there we go, caused by what? The attachment and hatred. You either want something or you hate something else. Neither at peace. Always in conflict with yourself. This, that, okay, that's not balanced. Okay, that's confusion. Understand that. There are attachments. There are attachments and hatred in the mind because here we go, the ego. I knew he got to come up sooner or later. The ego is in control. That's you. That's who you are. Sense of duality. You do not see that everything is God. So what? You like some things or hate others. This leads to mental agitation. There's no balance. But the opposite of love or like is dislike or hate. You have to have that balance. That's why I keep trying to bring it into you. You can't get around, my girl. Watch this. So now the ego is what is in control. Why? Because you identify with it. I keep trying to explain that to you. That's your id. And you believe it is real. And it has real desires for what? Worldly objects, peoples of the world, as if they were real also. This world we live in physically to us seem real, but it's all illusionary. But we deal with it that way. The matrix, they call it. Okay, hologram. But the ego, watch this. Your ego personality exists because of its ignorance. The soul ignorantly identifies with the ego personality. It's like symbiotic. It's going to grasp to whatever's there. And if it's the ego and it's negative, it don't know. It's going to ride with the ego. But if it gravitates to the higher self, it gets rewarded. Why? It go back to itself. That's why. And the ego personality exists, again, out of ignorance. And with the ego personality, it wants what? And desires. And so doing suffers So the soul suffers along with it. Again, you along for the ride. But to remove pain from life, it is necessary to what? Break the chain of pain. How? Which has ignorance at its root. Gain intelligence, get knowledge, understand it, know thyself. That's how you stop it. And the next one is suffering. How about that? The way to end it, enlightenment. Do better, live better, be a better person. And all that stuff that you went through, that you caused yourself, won't be there. Why? You're not causing it anymore. They call them fetters for a reason. Let me wrap this up with the suffering. Suffering in search of truth gives true meaning to what? To truth. What the what? To suffer is a necessary entail upon your nature. Why? Would you prefer that miracles should protect you from its lessons, which is life, living them adverse situations, or shall you what repine because it's happened unto you? We think everybody else gonna die. We see everybody else. No, see yourself first. And when lo, it happens unto you, suffering is the golden cross upon which what? The rose of the soul unfolds. We all gonna be crucified. We all gonna be responsible. Okay? That's what suffering's all about. And from suffering, you learn humility. I'd rather end on that note. Okay? Humility is a greater virtue, there we go, than defying death. Okay? Why? Because it triumphs over vanity, egoistic conceit, and conquers them where? In yourself first. Hello? That's where it starts. That's where you have to take care of all your issues internally with yourself. Why? Because we live in a world, wrapping it up. Cultivating humility is what? Is a way to control your ego. The Ba cannot dwell in a mind full of itself. See, the ego won't share. The ego got to be controlled. Why? It's not open for suggestion. You have to deal with it the way it is. You fight fire with fire. You got a little fire, you get a bigger fire. You got a little gun, you get a bigger gun. The ego, you got to supersede him and put him in what? Servitude. Work for you, not let it lead you. These are all lessons we're going to learn as we go. So here's another value. I keep saying at the end, but I'm at the preacher. One more. Let's go one more time. Let's deal with karma. Y'all know it as law. We know it as law, cause, and effect. More often, everybody know it as karma. So what's that? Talk about it right quick. Everything we do, the phrase, you reap what you sow. So everything we do, which I reap, an action, something doing, everything we do is sowing. And all of our experiences are what? Harvesting. You do this, you get that. I tell you all the time, if you serve him, you will be blessed. Simple as that. It ain't no argument, it ain't debate. I'm just making a fact. I'm not here to preach to nobody about nothing, but I'm telling you, that's just the way it is. That's karma. That's God's law, not man's. Okay? Because if you do wrong, you can't do wrong and expect to get something good by that. That's insanity. So every cause, what? Has its effect. Remember her? Maya. Every effect has its cause. This happened because that did, and this happened. This is the outcome. Everything happens according to law. Chance is just a name for law, which is what? Unrecognized. And there are many planes of causation in the human life, but nothing escapes the law of cause and effect, aka karma, God's law. Okay, and that lesson is over. Oh, I got plenty more, but right now I'm closing. Right thinkers, may you all day to be 100, and me 100 minus a day. So I never know that right thinkers like you passed away, and I got a whole bunch of more lessons for you.